So, this is great historical and Old Testament knowledge that you have regarding the Levitical priesthood. So, let's go ahead and keep going on this point first before we move on to your next of Matthew. Now, it's believed and taught that the Old Testament Levitical priesthood was a prophetization of the New Testament priesthood, which is held by the Catholic Church. Now, the Levitical priesthood was one of physical heredity within the specific familial tribe of Levi. And it's important to note that not all of those who were Levites were spiritual leaders, but those who were those spiritual leaders had duties, including maintaining the temple, teaching temple law, as well as providing sacrificial offerings. Now, the Catholic Church, being birthed through Christ's sacrifice, is the family of Christ. And technically, all who are baptized with the Trinitarian formula are part of this family. Now, we recognize that not all members are called to the form of spiritual leadership that Catholic priests partake in, just as not all Levites were Levitical priests. Now, Catholic priests have the exact same duties as the former. Okay, we're charged with the upkeep and functionality of our parishes. We teach scripture, and our sacrificial offerings are two. The first is that we offer ourselves in service to Christ and his ministry. The second is that during Mass, Christ makes himself present in the Eucharistic elements, the bread and the wine, and offers himself to the Father. Then we, the priest, offer the sacrifice to God, uniting the church with Christ's offering, as well as receiving the nourishment of consistent grace through the sacrament. Now, onto your next comment, being Matthew 23:9. Now, this is a common admonition and incorrect comparison from the spiritual leadership of the Catholic priesthood from the Protestants. Of the priesthood from the Protestants. Now, I'm sure we know that the scripture doesn't reference a child calling their male parent father, whether biological or not. We call God Father. In the book of Acts, chapter 7, verse 2, we find that our male ancestors are able to be called fathers, such as Father Abraham. In the Old Testament, there were numerous figures who were spiritual leaders, including Joseph in Genesis 45:8 and Job in Job 29:16. Now, the full passage states much more than what you just quoted, because all you provided was a single verse. But the full passage is actually Matthew 23:8 through 10. And in it, it says, don't call anyone rabbi, don't call anyone father, and don't call anyone master. So let's take a little bit further look into those. Now, rabbi means teacher, yet we call individuals teacher. St. Paul called himself teacher father by stating, I became a father in you in 1 Corinthians. He even states in that same book that, quote, some of you are teachers, unquote. Ephesians 4 shows people listed as teachers. St. Peter in 1 Peter calls Mark his son. In Latin, the term doctor means teacher. John and multiple other apostles wrote, quote, my beloved children. So verse 9 was not meant to be taken in a literal sense. Rather, it was hyperbole. The meaning behind this was in the sense of lordship. Christ was stating this to show the Pharisees how proudly sinful that they were being, not as it's interpreted by Protestants today. May you and yours remain eternally blessed.